International Lingerie Show at the Eurotique booth with Peter. How you doing, man?
Good. How you doing?
Good, good. Good to see you. Hey, listen, it's an interesting cavalcade of activities that we've got going on here. The whole selfie thing. Fun and games.
The view is always good.
The view is always good from this corner, isn't it?
The models are well. We have Krista.
You've got the lovely Krista. How you doing? Good to see you. Hey, she knows how to shake. I shake hands like I'm in the 1800s, and she did it right off the bat.
She's been with us modeling for this show for 10 years.
Oh yeah, okay, good. Congratulations. Yeah, and doing a wonderful job of it.
Thank you.
You're very welcome. And we'll just pan down and pan up. And she's wearing one of
She's
your.
wearing one of our full bust corsets.
There we go.
And
Yeah.
it comes down over the hips.
Right.
Which is most women want, so that they don't end up with showing skin down in here.
Right, or that
As you
pinch
can see-
type of a
as
thing.
You can see, a lot of ours are different lengths, and that's for the girl that's 5'10", the girl that's 5'5".
Right.
They're going to buy a different length corset.
Exactly. So they can actually custom order these at different sizes.
Absolutely. Well, actually, they're not even custom.
So now that they've pivoted around, we'll go ahead and get the full. There we go. They're doing a little live broadcast to some of their regular customers or what have you.
We'll figure out what customers they are.
Who knows? So
They're selling lingerie.
it's all good. It's all good. It's all very good stuff. So what do you have that you had mentioned to me when I walked up? You said that you've got something that you've gone into a new technique or something new for.
Yeah, let me show you.
Yeah.
We have a romance line of corsets, which is basically an entry. We have a romance line of corsets, which is actually a line of corsets that is for the entry level for stores.
Right.
Typically, they're going to buy from competitors who make lingerie, and they call them corsets, but they're really bustiers because they're not lined, they don't have any steel boning in them, and they're not really foundations, but they're good for just going out like kids will buy.
Maybe like a young woman who is new to the whole corset thing and wants to experiment with it a little bit.
And it'll be primarily sold for say $69, $79. So what we did is we came out with a corset for ourselves that's a low-end price corset, and this is going to be more substantial because it has a combination of steel boning and a nylon boning that we fabricated. And as you can see,
so the bone for us novices, the boning is these stays or these support pieces here.
Boning is everywhere you see the stitching in. They're all stitched in place and they're all capped. So what you do is this keeps the garment from being able to tighten it up and make that waist with a 2-3 inches reduction.
Okay, now Peter, the term boning, is that because maybe in more traditional times they actually used bone material for that?
In historical time, these corsets were all developed in the UK primarily, and they were whalebone.
Whalebones.
Everything was made with whalebone, and of course you can't get whalebone anymore and use it, but that's what they did. So now what we've done now is fabricated steel bone, and there's a lot of different kinds of steel bones on the market. Because what we're trying to do is get a steel bone that does something else.
Right. So now, but you said you've incorporated steel and nylon.
Steel and nylon.
Okay.
Right. We fabricated a nylon special for our products.
What's the difference between your nylon boning compared to some other competitors?
Other ones call it nylon, but it's really plastic. It comes on a reel. And a reel, when you snip it, what will happen is you get a burr, and the burr will come through. And when the woman wears it, you will see the boning come out the bottom here and rip it. And
so you get these rough edges or sharp edges at the end.
They tear at the end, they come out, and then the woman will still wear it, but they don't have any cinching ability.
I see.
So we make sure that doesn't happen.
Okay, interesting.
And this whole line here is all our romance line. So we have a wide choice of selections. Whether the woman is hippie, we have ones that come out in the hip. We have ones that are flaring out. We have some that are a little bit longer than the other ones. And we have a bar collection that we make for restaurants and bars for wait staffs.
For the wait staff, for the waitresses and bartenders, etc.
Anything from sequins to brocades with spandex in it.
Right.
So It depends on what they want. So if a particular customer has a theme, you say black and gold, we'll make it for them in black and gold.
You can custom order it to what they want.
Yeah, we do.
You mentioned something about a particular bar that is using a leather type of a halter or a vest type of a style.
We do it for one of the big bars out in North Carolina. They get 1,000 people in that bar. They have probably 100 different waitresses, and they buy our stretch leather.
Certain time of the year, of course.
All year.
Certain season.
No, all year.
Oh, it is. It is year round.
It's like the.
Why don't you go ahead and show it to us real quick? Oh, okay.
This is the vest.
Yeah, and this is this
This is lamb leather.
lamb leather.
Yeah, nice
So
and soft.
nice, thin,
Stretches
pliable.
in the back. Stretches in the back. In this particular bar we're talking about, is we put their logo on it.
Right.
Or you could just wear it all.
Right.
But also, what's nice about it is it ties.
Oh, it ties. So there's a level
Goes
of
around the neck.
adjustability
Plenty of
per the
adjustability.
individual.
Yeah. So if a woman has larger breasts, it's going to look really different than a girl that has smaller breasts, but it's going to fit the same.
But it'll fit as snugly as it needs to.
Exactly.
Oh, interesting.
So we're good. That's big to us to make sure we can fit all types of body styles. That's what's supposed to. And then our courses go up from after darks to our cinchers, and we do this is very new. This is our concealed weapon.
You have concealed weapon pockets, zips up. It still has the stay. I'm sorry,
Spandex
not
in
the
the
stays, the bone.
Right. Spandex in the back.
Spandex in the back.
And this is not for training, but this is for carrying. So this is for under their garment. This will hold a Glock, a Smith & Wesson, the Bodyguard, and all that. We've taken it down to the gun shows, and we've showed it there. This is a very successful product.
What would suggested retail be on
The
this?
suggested retail would be about $129.
120 and about 139. Yeah, I always round it up.
Yeah.
Okay.
You know, the concept is 129 is cheaper than 130.
That's true. Yeah,
Not by
yeah.
much, it's only a nickel.
Exactly. Yeah.
So we did it in some beige color. So depending on the body, if you're wearing, you can wear anything with this and just go under it. It's fine.
Right.
We trimmed them out for some because people want some. But when we do this one doesn't stretch as much in the front.
Okay.
Because the netting is over the stretch material.
Right. It's a little more
Yes,
stout.
it's more decorative. So
Yeah.
it depends on what pistol or gun they want to put in it. And then we do all of our high-end corsets. And as if you come down here, give you an example of our workmanship. These are all hand done.
Okay. What would suggest a retail be on a more handmade piece?
$350.
$350.
$350. Right? Yeah, these are really nice. And if you want to hold this for a second, you can get an idea.
Oh wow. Yeah, that's considerably heavier than the other ones.
Yeah, the others. Yeah.
Now, does this have all steel bones?
This is all steel. This is all steel, and if you just feel for a minute here, you can see how thick it is.
Oh yeah. Okay.
And this is the typical boning that they did in the Victorian time that were all whalebone. And so now the steel bone made the same way that they did.
In a similar manner.
Yeah, and it'll bend, and as the woman first wears it, it'll start to curve, and eventually that curve will stay there, and they put it on. They can reduce their waist by 2 to 4 pounds.
Okay. Now, you've also got some steampunk designs.
Yes. We have a number of steampunk ones. The red with the zipper. This is a very good seller for us. It's got a brocade combination. This is just standard black with the hasp. And this is the pirate look, the pirate for the winch. And then we do this, and of course the browns and the black and golds and so on. And then this is the outfit for a Renaissance, and
This one has a bit of a vest to
it's
it.
got a little bit of everything, yeah.
Okay.
got
Interesting.
ties, it's got-
What would suggested retail be on some of these?
Anything at this level is going to be retails about $349, $329 for
Okay.
retail.
About 330 to 350.
Yeah. Because these are real. I mean, you can feel this guy.
Oh yeah.
I should really weigh some of these and put a weight on it because it's pretty substantial.
Very good.
And then we do the last but not least is we do a halter, waist halter for women.
Okay.
And they can put it around their leg, They can put this one here. They can change that on both sides.
It's kind of like a pair of chaps
Yeah,
or...
when the girls will go out there wearing it with the jeans. They don't need to carry a purse. They have everything they need in here.
Right.
Nobody's going to reach in to steal their money or their pocket or a wallet or their keys.
Right, and that's attached. Very good.
Yeah.
Outstanding, Peter. Well, listen, it was good to see you. You have a really good show. Have you seen any changes in the market over the last, say, few years?
The changes I would say is that the market has gone for more price reduction. And the problem is there's a lot of vendors who manufacture some very inexpensive products. They look good, but the problem is that they're not going to last long. But there is a market for it.
Right.
The young lady buys it, wears it for 2 or 3 times. It's cheap. They throw it away. They buy another one.
Right.
Ours lasts for a long time. That's why we came up with our romance collection.
Very good. Well, good luck with it.
Thanks.
Some of the things that we're also interested in are the origins of a company, or what got the company or the organization started. In your case, why don't you just tell me the story about you, the wife, and how the company got it?
Well, Chrissy and I were always into corsets. She liked wearing them, and I was a management consultant, and I traveled to London a lot, and I met the 2 founders that had basically 2 companies in London, Axfords and Golders, who are very well known.
What was that company again?
Axfords and Golders.
Axfords and Golders.
Yeah, they made corsets, and they didn't sell from Europe to the U.S. market. I got to know them. We were able to import their products, and as we did it, we had space in our building, and we started it 25 years ago, and we started the company. And hence the word Eurotique is European boutique, because we took the European flavor of corsets. Over the years, we decided that we would start making leather corsets and other corsets, and I started buying from a company called Stormy Leather. About 4 or 5 years later, I bought Stormy Leather.
Oh, you purchased it outright?
I purchased it outright.
Let me back up just a little bit, too. You said, so you started your company about 25 years ago?
25 years ago.
At the time, were corsets much of a thing in the States?
Not much of a thing in the fetish market. They were there. Stormy Leather was making corsets, all leather. That's all they made.
More of a fetish type of
for the fetish market only. They had a very good business. We bought their corsets and we stocked them. So we had Stormy Leather in our store. We had the 2 Axford rollers, and it turned out to be a very good business for us.
Hence, just I guess the natural progression would be either to absorb or purchase the company or become a part of that company.
Correct. So we bought Stormy Leather, and it came up for sale, and we then branched off into all the satins and the brocades and you name any fabrics, because if you can make leather corsets, you can make anything else, because there's different sewing machines that you use to make leather corsets than you do with regular garment corsets.
Right, right.
So that's how we actually got started, and over the years I sold Stormy Leather, and we stayed with Eurotique, and we wanted to downsize a little bit, and we concentrate on just making corsets.
And you mentioned something about leather corsets being a fetish thing in the States back at the time, 25 years ago. And, you know, I've traveled a bit. European customers or European folks seem to be a little more, I don't want to say accepting, but
Open?
well, they seem more interested in leather clothing per se.
Well, it's cold over there.
Well, yeah, but on a cultural basis, on a clothing cultural basis, if that's even a thing, European ladies and even men have a tendency to wear leather clothing more than you typically see it in the States. And so,
yes, because in the States you typically saw motorcycles.
right, yeah, you're wearing
Females, males, or leather.
right on a motorcycle, but you're not going to see them wearing a fashion dress or something.
Right, remember the underground?
Right.
There's a fetish community. There's always been a fetish community.
Right.
London has a fetish community, and they all did leather corsets.
Right.
So, and Golders Axfords actually did style corsets. I mean, they did, so in the Victorian days, remember, these women all wore corsets. They had
Right.
big skirts, and that's where they actually started their business.
And that's the foundation of that company.
Correct.
So you mentioned the oldest company in Europe. That's where it's going at. Yeah.
Right. So, then it started to come in the U.S., I mean, I would say there was very few companies in the U.S. selling them or even making them.
Is that even back in the Victorian era? Because, you know, corsets would have been a thing in the States as well.
Not much.
Really, it wasn't?
Yeah, not much in the early.
Well, you see, that's interesting from a historical standpoint, because I've always just believed that during the Victorian era, that corsets were pretty much a Western thing, Europe and the United
If you look
States.
at the Civil War times, there was the corsets and the ball gowns and all that, so they were here. But
Not to the level it was in Europe.
Not to Europe, and there was really no big name that made them.
I see. And whereas this other company, and I say it again,
Axfords,
and Bullers. So that was their mainstay, and yeah, interesting.
They were a company, I believe that was, someone might correct me, but some 50-year-old company.
Wow. Okay. Interesting. Very good. And so, just moving forward into the current era.
Well, we started with the leather corsets. We bought Simon Leather. We started with making the same type of corset, which is a higher end corset, triple layer, solid steel boning. That's all we ever did. The market then changed because people don't want to spend the money for leather or a couture like over there.
Right.
Those are higher end corsets. They're costly. They're $349 retail. So those are the kind of things, the same as the leather. So we then came out with an After Dark line. Our After Dark line was a 2-layer corset with steel boning as well, but it was less costly to do.
Trying to get into that market share that is not willing to spend that extra money.
And so now, in the last 3 years, we then created the Romance line. And the Romance line is your entry-level line. That will compete with the bustiers that they call corsets, but they're really bustiers. They're basically fabrics with some plastic in it.
Right.
And you wear them once or twice, and you chuck them, but they're cheap.
Like we had talked about earlier,
Correct.
this manufacturing process that we discussed.
Absolutely. So we decided that our line is going to be a little bit better. We're going to have steel in it, and we're going to still have it layered.
And that's the one with the steel and alternating.
Correct.
Right. Okay.
So that's part of the process was to get that level. Now, is there a market? There's still a market. I had 3 customers come in today and go, God, that's expensive wholesale for the Romance. They're buying bustiers, but they think they're buying corsets. So does Eurotique start stepping down one more and come out with a $10 corset?
Now, Peter, I got to ask, because I'm completely ignorant. And you did I hear you earlier? You said that you and your wife, 25 years ago, you were both into corsets.
Yes.
I mean, did you wear the corsets yourself?
No.
Not that there's anything wrong with that.
No.
Okay. I pick up on the little things sometimes.
And by the way, some of our
a man, I appreciate a woman who wears them.
Many men do.
Well, yeah, but I mean, I appreciate a woman who wears them. They look very nice.
The Gothic movement, they're all corsets, all men.
Okay. Now you mentioned a difference between corsets, and bustiers.
Right.
So what's the difference in short?
Bustiers are typically a fabric only. It might have some plastic boning in it. It comes off a reel. You cut it and you put it in. They look beautiful. I won't mention any names who sell them. Everybody would know who they are.
Okay.
They don't last very long. The stitching per inch is not the same, but they look beautiful.
Now, is a bustier similar to a girdle that you would have seen in the 50s and 60s?
They're calling them corsets, but they're really bustiers.
Oh, okay.
Because there's no foundation for the breast,
Right. Okay.
and there's no real tightening of the waist. But if you have a little shape and you put those on,
then it looks the same.
Look nice. They're pretty.
Very good.
So do we go step down? I don't know. I might.
Yeah, who knows? But hey, you have to be in constant transition,
I have
right?
to go to Ethiopia and some 7 world country and out there and make them for $2 and sell them for $7.
Well, if you travel there, brother, let me know. And if you travel there, travel well and safe, okay?
Thanks.
Okay. Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Stuart.